So I just watched the yet to be released romantic comedy Solo Mio, directed by Charles Kinane and Daniel Kinane, and written by Kevin James, John Kinane, and Patrick Kinane. I'm noticing a pattern with who was behind this movie. So, in terms of how I heard about this movie, I like Kevin James. I like some of his movies, like Here Comes the Boom and Paul Blart Mall Cop. And I got to see an early screening of this movie that he was starring in and co-wrote. So I thought, what the heck, I'll go ahead and give it a try. Now that I've seen it, I have to say it was less of a comedy, more of a romance, as opposed to having an equal amount of both. So I guess I'll just say Kevin James and Nicole Grimaldo, who plays the love interest, were fine here. Neither of them were bad. They both did a good enough job. I'm still not used to Kevin James's bald head, I will say, and you see it a lot here, and I was kind of like a bit like it just doesn't look right on him, if I'm being perfectly honest. Most of the side characters here I thought were pretty annoying, particularly Allison Hannigan, who just seemed drunk the entire movie. Like, not the character, the actress. Like, she just stumbled onto set plastered. I will say, though, Jonathan Roumie was likable in his role. He didn't really give a great New York accent, though. I didn't think it was conveyed that well, but still, I liked him. There was a fun cameo in the movie before the start of its third act. I won't spoil who it is, but I actually did appreciate having this person in the movie. Most of the romantic drama I thought was pretty whatever. Like, it just felt very reminiscent of Hallmark movies, which I'm already not a fan of. I will say there was a twist in the third act that I thought was somewhat interesting, and I wasn't expecting it. So it was kind of cool to see that put in there, but still, I just didn't really care for the romantic angle overall. The comedy also wasn't very good. Like, there was some laughs here and there, but mostly these felt like pretty stale jokes. Like, thankfully, there weren't a ton of jokes about just Kevin James being fat, but still, these just kind of feel like jokes we've seen on like a bunch of other places before. The directing and cinematography felt pretty unspectacular. Like, the whole thing feels like just very standard rom com directing, nothing really special in terms of that department. And one more thing I will quickly bring up is I definitely saw a rough cut of this movie because there were definitely some things that I'm sure will not be in the final cut. There were constantly changing aspect ratios. Like, most of the movie is in widescreen, but then the black bars go away for like a shot in a scene, and that just keeps happening throughout the movie. There's very obvious like green screen on phones and picture frames, like you can barely see where the keying on these things is. There's straight up a point where you can see just a phone with a green screen on it, so they didn't even put the effect in there yet. Uh, there are multiple times in the movie where like things will just fade into the black bars, whether it be something that's supposed to be keyed onto a phone screen or just Kevin James, like he's just like fading into the black bars, which I thought was weird, like he's over top of them. You can see the boom mic three different times throughout the movie, and it was pretty funny each time I saw it. I'm not sure if the cut I saw had a temp score or not, but the score was constantly reminding me of other scores. Like, there were multiple points where it reminded me of the theme for Grand Budapest Hotel. There were multiple points where it reminded me of certain points of the Lost score. So I'm not sure if these were like temp tracks or not, but either way, the score felt very reminiscent of other scores. They play the song Quota Vita, I believe is how you pronounce it, by Mina, three different times in the movie. I know that song because it was used during the credits for Luca. And every time they played it, I was like, okay, they keep playing the same song over and over again. I'm sure it's going to be used once, but I'm not sure if it's going to be used all three times they play it. So yeah, on those notes, I'm putting all those aside because again, I'm sure most of those issues will be fixed when the movie actually gets finished. This was a pretty unspectacular rom com, and but I promise I don't mean this next thing as an insult. I'm sure Hallmark fans will enjoy it because this is very, like I said, it's very reminiscent of the type of movie you would see on Hallmark. But if you're not really into those kinds of movies, I'd say just go ahead and avoid it. And I'm going to give Solo Mio a D. So those are my thoughts on the film. When you do see it, be sure to let me know what you think down in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe to see more reviews like this in the future. And I will see you next time. Vi auguro una buona giornata.